Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video. Slightly different video idea today. If I've been to your ground, I'm ranking it. I've been to 39 grounds in the top 4 divisions. I'm actually going to tick off my 40th on Wednesday when I go to Luton. But of the 39 grounds I've been to in the Premier League, Championship, League 1 and League 2, I'm going to rank them and tell you what I think of their stadiums. Before we get into this, do drop a like, do subscribe. If I haven't been to your stadium yet, it's not in this video. I will try and make an effort to get to every ground. It might take a little bit of time, but I think 39 grounds will make for a very decent video. As I say, get involved. Let me know your thoughts down below. I've got sheds for the small stadiums and just the stadiums I didn't really like. All right for the okay stadiums. Good for the good stadiums. Solid. And class for some of my favourites. And I've got my top 6 here. Like I said, there's 39 I need to cram in here. Don't be too offended if I put yours low down. Let's start with Cheltenham. I'm sorry, Cheltenham. Decent club. They're going in the right direction. Didn't like the away day. I went for one of those Checker Trade Trophy games or whatever the competition's called now. Basically, the EFL Trophy. It was a very low crowd from both sets of fans, and the stadium itself is just not very big. If they were to go and get promoted to the Championship, they'd really need to advance their stadium because it's just not very big at all. Not one of my favourites. I'm sorry, Cheltenham. Like the club, not the stadium. Blackpool next. Blackpool's an interesting one. The stadium itself, I'd say, is probably good. It's the away day which really bumps people's opinion of this one. Obviously, people like going to Blackpool for the weekend, especially if it's in the start of the season or end of the season around summer or springtime. I think the stadium itself, though, Bloomfield Road, is decent, and I'd say it was a good away day. Portsmouth next, so one of my favourites. I was umming and ahhing whether to put it in my top 6. I'm going to at least put it in class. Great away day. I've only been once. I went to Fratton Park when I saw Portsmouth 3, Coventry 3, and I tell you what, it's just perfect for Portsmouth. It's, what, 20,000 or so? I know it's got a little bit of works going on every now and then, but I tell you what, great away day. Really enjoyed it. The home fans are really good. Portsmouth fans are brilliant, and the stadium, really nice. Nice scenic away day. I love it. Class. Next up, Bristol Rovers. I'm kind of drawn on this one because I like Bristol Rovers as a club and I really like their fans. The stadium itself is a bit unusual. When I went with the away ends kind of down the side by the goal, if that makes sense. And there's sort of like stands that stick out and don't look particularly... It doesn't look like your common stadium. It's unique in its own way. I don't know what Bristol Rovers fans think of it. I like their fans. I think their stadium's a bit unusual. I'll say it was all right. I wouldn't say it was a bad stadium. Great away day, though, and we won that game. I thought their fans were really good, but the stadium itself, I'll say, is all right. Let me know what you think, Bristol Rovers fans. Next up, Molineux. I went to this ground, it was about 10 years ago. I went to see Wolves play Coventry. It was a draw. It was a decent away day. Wolves fans are really, really good. I think it's a nice stadium. I think it's just right for Wolves. What does it hold, about 30,000? I think it's a good stadium. I'm going to put it in class. Let me know if you agree, Wolves fans. Next up, you've got Burton Albion, the Pirelli. I did this ground about 6 years ago or so. It's a shed. I'm sorry, Burton. Probably about right for the size of club Burton are. But we're comparing some big stadiums here. And I just don't think Burton was an away day I look back on with much fondness. I think we won that game, actually. But the stadium itself, no, it doesn't. It's not really a memorable one for me. Crewe Alexandra next. Do you know what? Their ground's actually all right. I'm going to put them in all right because I think the stadium itself's interesting. There's one big stand and then the other stands are relatively small. So I think it's probably about right for Crewe. You can get a decent atmosphere there. The away end was all right. And yeah, I look back on Crewe away as a bit of fondness. I thought the train station was quite cool. I went on the train to this one. And yeah, the whole place, the environment, everything, the stadium, I think it was all right, to be fair. Next up, Hull City. Do you know what? Hull City can actually vary on how the fans are backing that team. At the moment, it seems like Hull City fans are really sort of trying to fill the stadium as much as they can, and it makes the stadium go up a notch. When I went last year, it wasn't as good because their fans were singing "Sacked in the Morning" to their own manager. Regardless of that, what do I think of the stadium? I think it's quite good, to be honest. It's a nice stadium. I don't think I've been to many stadiums where they've got black seats, so I find that quite cool, to be fair. And yeah, I'll say it was a good away day. I liked Hull Stadium. Next up, Arsenal, the Emirates. It's going in my top 6. Other than Wembley, probably the biggest ground I've been to in England. I still need to tick off a lot of the other top 6, to be fair. Yeah, when I went to Arsenal, it was Arsenal Coventry in the FA Cup a few years ago now. And yeah, obviously we lost, but great away day. It's obviously a big day out for the away fans. And yeah, I think Arsenal's amazing. I will mention Highbury briefly. It's a stadium I didn't go to, but the look of that, so traditional, looked so good. I think the Emirates is obviously them upgrading to the 21st century. And yeah, it's a nice stadium as well. I'm putting it in my top 6. Next up, Nottingham Forest. It was was the first time I got to go to the City ground last year, and I loved it. Top 6 for me. I think Forest ground is amazing, and what sets it apart from the others is the location and the crowd itself. Honestly, when they sing Mull of Kintyre before kick-off, I was just sort of blown away. I was just sort of stood there like, whoa, that's crazy. Their fans are really passionate. They were obviously on a charge towards the playoffs at that point, and obviously now they're in the Premier League. They want to make it as hostile as possible for the away fans and really try and get the 3 points in every game. Yeah, like I say, it's good to go away to Nottingham, right on the trend. I like it. Nottingham Forest in my top 6. Next up, Sunderland. I'm also going in my top 6. It's crazy to think this ground was in League One. Such a passionate set of fans. Honestly, fans in the North East are wild. Sunderland, Newcastle, they're so passionate, especially when they go on the road as well. And it's the home fans that really make this stadium even more special than it is. The Stadium of Light is already a massive stadium, and I had a great away day there. Probably my favourite away day when my team went and won there 5-4. Really good. Sunderland, top 6. Oxford United. The thing is, I think if it had 4 stands, it'd probably be good. But with it missing a stand, it's just a bit unusual. The fact you can kind of see out the stadium. I think their fans are all right. The stadium so far with the 3 stands are quite good. But as I say, missing a stand, I'm going to put it in all right. Next up, Peterborough United, London Road. Ooh, this is a tricky one. I feel like I've had decent away days at Peterborough. Where should I put it? I'm comparing some big stadiums here. I might go all right. I'm tempted to go between all right and good. I'll just put it in all right for now. I do think Peterborough's a good away day. Stadium's all right. I've been twice and the away ends changed both times. Once I went and I was by the side of the pitch, and then the other time I went, I was behind the goal. Regardless, nice stadium. I think it goes in all right. Port Vale next. Do you know what? Port Vale is another one where I've got like a tug of war, because I think the stadium itself is a bit dated, it's a bit rusty, but the fans are really passionate. I think it's quite unique. I like older stadiums. I don't want a world where everyone's got a new stadium, and I like these kind of away days. But I think one of the things that annoyed me with this is the steps were not very big between like each row of seats, and I was looking at the backs of people's heads and trying to see the football between it. It's a good job I'm a bit taller, I suppose. Regardless of that, I think it's an interesting away day. I'm going to put Port Vale in all right. I think their fans are really good though, and I'll put them in all right. Swindon Town next. I like this stadium. I think this is quite a decent away day. I've only been once. It's obviously got 4 stands. One of them is like an away stand. It hasn't got a roof, I don't think. But I quite enjoyed this away day. I think their fans are quite good as well. I'm going to say Swindon Town. They're going to go in good. It was a good away day. Next up, Walsall. I'm going to put it in shed. One of my favourite things about this away day is how local it is to where I am. Obviously, it's in the West Midlands, and yeah, I've been to this one a couple of times. I must say, though, it's not a very big stadium. One of the stands, I think it's one of the home stands behind the goal, is a bit bigger than the others. But regardless of that, I don't think I look back on this away day with much fondness. I'm going to put it in shed. Barnsley next. I tell you what, Oakwell's probably one of the most underrated. I think you can always have a good away day at Barnsley. I like the stadium, big fat away end. Yeah, good, decent home fans to be fair. I'm going to put Barnsley in good. Next up, Charlton Athletic, and in my opinion, I really like this away day. I think it's something to do with just going to London. I like London away days, but I think this stadium's really nice, and I think Charlton are a good club to be fair. I'd like to see them get back in, at least into the Championship. I'm going to say the Vale is class. Only went once, really enjoyed it though. Really good away day. Big fat away end behind the goal. That's where you want it to be. Birmingham City next. Ooh, it's tricky. Obviously, Birmingham City at the moment, if I was to go now and I'd never been before, I'd be like, I don't know about this because the stadium's not fully open. But as someone who's a Coventry fan and got to go loads of times when we played there, it's actually a pretty decent stadium, I won't lie. There's one stand which looks like it could do with some work on it. To be honest, the whole stadium probably needs some work on it, seeing as it's not fully open. But a decent away end behind the goal. I look back on Birmingham away with some fondness because obviously Coventry went and won the league there. I think their fans are obviously very passionate, and I'm going to say St Andrews going in class. I think the fact it's in Birmingham as well, there's so much to do before and after the game. It's a really good one. Blackburn next. I had a really good away day at Blackburn last season. Ewood Park, big fat away end behind the goal. As I say, that always bumps it up a place or two. As for the home fans, when I went, I don't think they were amazing. They weren't terrible, but I'd say it's good. Probably middle of the range for me. It's quite a historic ground, Ewood Park. I like the colours. I'm going to put it in good. Bristol City next. I will say I've been to Bristol City, but it was a few years ago and they've done developments to it since then, so I do need to go down and try it. Now it's looking a bit more modernised and I think it looks really good now, to be fair. I think Bristol City have obviously got a really passionate fan base and yeah, their stadium's obviously much bigger now than when I last went. The away end's behind the goal again and I think there's not a lot to complain about with Bristol City away. I'm going to put it in class. Derby County next, straight up in class as well. I think Derby County, Pride Park, great away day. I went twice last season, and one of the games I went to last season was Derby versus Birmingham, and that for me was crazy because you got to see the full potential of this club. Derby County's fans are mental. There was about 32,000 at that game. They were protesting at the owners, and obviously they're a club that don't deserve to be in League One. Good away day. Stadium's quite new. I quite like the stadium. Away end is sort of in the corner, and yeah, really passionate home fans. I'm going to put it in class. Reading are next. Reading Stadium itself is okay. I wouldn't say it sticks out as one of my favourites, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to put Reading in good. To be fair, I've only been once, and when I went, it was their sort of anniversary last year, so I got to see it with quite a few Reading fans in there. To be fair, I'd like to go back to this ground and try it again. Let's put Reading in good. Next up, Millwall the Den. I've got to say, this was loads of fun. There's something about going to the Den. Obviously, it's quite a well-known ground. They're quite a well-known club, and it can be intimidating. It wasn't necessarily when I went, but I'd love to go to like a London derby. Like, imagine Millwall versus Palace or West Ham or Arsenal or someone like that at the Den. That would be crazy. Yeah, Millwall, I'm going to put it in class. I liked that away day. Rotherham United next. I think the stadium's probably about right for Rotherham, and it's quite a nice design. In the Championship, it's one of the smaller ones, but it doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to hate on it. I think when I went, it wasn't a great experience because I went and saw Coventry lose 4-0 there. Rotherham just took us to the cleaners, to be fair. It's quite a tricky ground to go to at times. Rotherham can be quite good at home. I'm going to put Rotherham in all right. I'm torn between good or all right. Just balancing out the tier list. I'll put them in all right. I do like it, though. Decent stadium. Coventry City next. Obviously, the ground I've been to the most. The Rico, the CBS, whatever you want to call it now. And after last season, it's starting to feel like home, and it's starting to feel like a ground where we could have some success. Obviously, Coventry fans haven't had major success since Highfield Road. Obviously, in the last couple of years, we're starting to see things look much better on the pitch. This season's not been great because the pitch itself's been dug up. I've got great memories of Coventry. I feel like I've sat in almost every seat in this ground. I currently sit behind the goal. I used to sit in Singer's Corner when I was a bit younger. I've sat in the sort of posh stand as well. I've not sat in the away end, I will say, obviously. Yeah, great fans, to be fair. And at the moment, Coventry are really making the Rico as good as it has been since we've been there. Should I say the CBS? Probably. I'm going to say class. I like it. Stoke City next. Ooh, Stoke City. I only went once. It was a few years ago. I'm going to say good. It was a good away day. Their fans can be quite passionate, to be fair. I might try and get to this ground again this season because I don't actually remember it too well for some reason. I think it was a decent away day and their fans were quite good. I'm going to say good. Stoke City, yeah, decent away day. Next up's Vicarage Road, Watford. I quite enjoyed this away day, to be fair. Only been once. I might try and go again this season. And I saw Coventry lose 3-0 to Watford in the EFL Cup. But what I loved is how passionate the Coventry fans were. We were singing Twist and Shout in the away end for ages. And I think the away end's really good. It was like 4,000 Coventry fans went down to Watford. Big fat away end. And yeah, I like the colour scheme of Watford. Their fans can be quite good. I'm going to say Watford is going in class. I know this is all opinions based, but Watford's one of my favourites, to be fair. Bolton Wanderers are next. I've only been to Bolton once. I think it's a decent stadium. I don't think they sell it out too often, but they have got a pretty passionate fan base up there. I'm going to put Bolton Wanderers Stadium in good. I think if they get into the Championship, they'd obviously be able to get more fans in there. And yeah, it's an away end. The away end is behind the goal. So I think Bolton's a decent stadium. It's obviously a newer stadium. I like it, though. It's going in good. Bradford City next. I really like this one. Really unique. It's a bit strange how 3 stands are bigger than the one sort of away stand, which is a bit small. That was how it was when I went a few years ago. But yeah, their fans are really passionate. Such a well-supported club for what they are, League 2 now. And I think it'd be right to see Bradford and their stadium, Valley Parade, back in at least League 1. I think Bradford, for me, is going in good. Really enjoy that away day. Doncaster Rovers next. I might say it's on a level with Rotherham. I think the stadium itself's okay. Probably about right for Doncaster. It wasn't particularly big, but the stadium's quite neat. And yeah, I enjoyed my away day there. The keep moat is going in all right. MK Dons next. This is an interesting one because I don't ever think I've been and seen the home fans going absolutely crazy. They've never really sold it out, but the stadium itself is such a good sort of facility, and the away end, I mean, the amount of times I've been with Coventry is countless, and we always take thousands. It's so accommodating for away fans, and you can get a really good atmosphere in the away end as well. I think it's a really, really nice stadium. I'm going to put it in class. Next up, Newcastle United, one of my favourites. Easily, what a stadium. Top 6. Newcastle and St James's Park. It was just an amazing Saturday, that was. I went to like a pub before. Actually, I went to a couple of pubs before I went to that ground. And everything about that city on match day, it's just booming. It's vibrant. The fans are so passionate. And what do they get? Like 50,000. It's crazy. Newcastle United, top 6 for me. Love that stadium. Northampton next. Do you know what? I like Northampton as a club, and they kind of helped Coventry out in dark times, but I don't look on this stadium with much fondness because we ground shared here. It wasn't the best season. I think we were all right, to be fair. We stayed up, but I've been there since as an away fan and seen Coventry lose 3-0. I will say, I think they've got a Taco Bell outside Sixfields now, which for me is just fantastic. I love a Taco Bell. I think Northampton are a decent club. The stadium's probably about right for them. It's been redeveloped a little bit, actually, in the last sort of 5-10 years. I'm going to say it's a shed, though. Sorry. Swansea City next. Ooh, Swansea City. I went years ago, and to be fair, I don't know if this counts, but I went to see Swansea's under-21s play Coventry in the Checkatrade Trophy a few years ago now, and obviously it'd be better to go for a championship game when they've obviously got more fans there. I would say it was still a decent away day, and if we're just thinking about the stadium, I think it's quite nice, to be fair. I like Swansea away. I'm going to put it in good. West Bromwich Albion are next. Oh, I like the Hawthorns. I do like the Hawthorns. I'm going to put it in class. I've been to the Hawthorns quite a few times. I went in the home end quite a few times because one of my closest friends was a West Bromwich Albion season ticket holder. I went last season in the away end. And yeah, I just think there's something about this stadium. It's just really nice, to be honest. The away end, what can you hold? About 2,500, 3,000 fans there. Their fans can be quite passionate. Depends how they're doing, I suppose. Obviously, when I went last year, things weren't going great for them, so it wasn't the fullest I've ever seen it. But I still think it's a really good stadium. I like the Hawthorns. Next up, Villa Park. It's got to go in top 6, hasn't it? There's something about this stadium. Their fans are just so passionate, aren't they? Villa fans are just crazy. And yeah, the away end isn't the best for me because it's by the side. I prefer away ends when they're behind the goal. But there's one massive stand. I think it's the Holt end. And they are just so passionate. Villa fans are crazy. I think you've got to put Villa Park in top 6. Whether you like Villa or not, I think it's a great away day. Wickham Wanderers. All right, I suppose. Their stadium's probably about right for them. Adams Park only went once. The away end's behind the goal. I quite enjoy it, to be fair. Once again, I'm comparing some big stadiums here with some smaller ones, and I'd say Wickham isn't a shed, but it's all right. It's a decent away day. Their fans can be okay. Last up, we've got Bramall Lane, and they're going to complete my top 6 for me. Sheffield United away is a great away day, and I will say, on both occasions I've been, I've never seen Coventry win there. I've never seen Coventry score there, and I still really hold this stadium with a place in my heart because I think it's such a nice stadium and their fans are so passionate. So that goes to show what Sheffield United and Bramall Lane does. I think it's a great stadium. Really good away end. I've been before in the top tier. I've been before in the bottom tier. Regardless of that, they've got 3 big stands. I think the Cop is the one behind the goal. They're so passionate, the Sheffield United fans. It's going in my top 6. So then, guys, that wraps up my tier list. 39 stadiums I've been to, ranked. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my opinions. Obviously, I've not been to every ground in the top 4 divisions. I will be going to Luton on Wednesday to tick off number 40. As ever, guys, drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.